What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P here with another episode of Steelers War Room, the show that likes to put you in the minds of Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, Mike Tomlin, and the rest of the Steelers front office as they look to put together a winning roster in 2024 and beyond, and a roster that competes for a 7th Lombardi trophy. That is why you're seeing so many players in, out, everywhere, acquisitions, trades, draft picks, acquisition, the works. Right, today's show, 5 reasons why Kenny Pickett was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty simple. For most of these are going to seem obvious, but there are some hidden things here. The writing was on the wall. All right, so let's bring it up. Let's get into it. Number 1, Kenny Pickett's development. Now, this is going to be no surprise to anyone. Kenny Pickett's development did not develop into what you'd expect from a first-round draft pick quarterback. First 20 picks in the draft. I think that's an awful place to be drafting a quarterback, which is why we put out a show on the channel already. Move on from 20. I think it's an awful position to really draft anyone, to be honest. You either move up and get a top guy, move back and get more chances at the, more rolls of the dice. But Kenny Pickett's development on and off the field, if all the accounts are true about them not wanting to be the third emergency quarterback, going into the Bills game, if there if there's the attitude around Russell Wilson, if that is all true, then it's on the field and off the field development. Maybe Kenny Pickett thought it was going to be easier. I wonder that too. I wonder if he thought the NFL was going to be easier than what he expected it to be. Matt Canada did not help him whatsoever. And now it would be fair on his side of the fence saying, hey, how was I meant to develop in a Matt Canada offense? It's probably good for him. Goes to his childhood favorite team. I mean, in many ways, he's going to be backing up Jalen Hurts. He's not going to be starting. Everyone's talking about that. But hey, if Jalen Hurts gets injured, Kenny Pickett can game manage them enough to get their few wins. But hey, let's see what happens. Mike Tomlin's philosophy, point number 2. Tomlin has a very different sort of philosophy. Broderick Jones talked about in one of his end-of-season interviews where he talks about the fact that Mike Tomlin's not on him all the time. Now, happy birthday to Mike Tomlin as well. I'm recording this on Mike Tomlin's birthday, so happy birthday, Mike Tomlin. But Mike Tomlin has a philosophy of maturing, stepping up to the plate, wanting to work with guys that are proven performers. That's why there's often guys they go and get that they liked, a la Patrick Queen. But Mike Tomlin was asked a lot of questions during the 2022 draft process, post-draft process, about working with a rookie quarterback. And there was a big theory out there that Mike Tomlin did not want to work with a rookie quarterback. No, none of us really know that. None of us are really in Mike Tomlin's head. But you bring in a guy like Russ. I had brought Mitch in that period anyway, and then Kenny Pickett fell to them. But you bring in a guy like Russell Wilson, he's going to match Mike Tomlin's philosophy, and you saw that already. There's a short I put out where I looked at the height of Russell Wilson. What the heck? Is this guy like 5'7"? Anyway, but you looked at Mike Tomlin's perspective of bringing Russ, getting on with Russ, experienced Russ. That's more of a Mike Tomlin thing in winning now than it is bringing in that rookie QB. And that might seem unfair, but Mike Tomlin's never worked with a rookie QB as QB1 before Kenny Pickett, and I don't think they set him up for success with Matt Canada. But I don't think that was Mike Tomlin's hire either. Point 3, Omar Khan's independence. So this was interesting. I've tried to find the video for you guys, but there's been so much talk about Omar Khan the last week or so and Kenny Pickett, and really since 2 weeks since the combine stuff, that I spent over half an hour looking for it, and I want to get this video recorded and up and ready to go on the channel. But Omar Khan made a comment. Someone will probably be able to find it, but he made a comment after the 2022 draft class, once he'd been hired as GM, and he got asked a question, was this your hire, or was it your pick, or was it Kevin Colbert's? Now, under the definition of the rules, it would obviously be Kevin Colbert in 2022 because Kevin Colbert was still the GM. But Omar Khan made a cryptic comment with a bit of I wouldn't call it a grin, I'd call it a smirk on his face, where he said, well, we'll have to see how well Kenny Pickett goes. Now, at the time, I thought, ooh, did he influence it? But then you saw how picky and how deliberate and how I think even Kevin Colbert held Mike Tomlin to ransom a little bit on picks sometimes and talent, because Mike Tomlin's talked about all the talent he's liked, or that he had really good pre-draft process things. And I know he talks to so many guys, but he has this previously. And then Colbert to go pick someone completely different that doesn't really fit any of those bills. So, I honestly, I think that told me everything you needed to know, and that Omar Khan was ready to do his own thing if this didn't work out and put his stamp on it. And I like it. Mike Tomlin's not going to be around forever. Omar Khan wants to be a GM for a very long time. He's got to make moves. Kevin Colbert had a lot less pressure on him as GM for the Steelers when he came in 2000, 2001 because of the way that he had really well. He had picks that had success early on at the start of the draft. And the Steelers have not done well at the start of the draft for a while now. Point number 4, Russell Wilson signing. Obviously, that's going to demote Kenny Pickett. But Russell Wilson signing, the attitude he brings, everything he brings with it, Kenny Pickett having to sit for at least a year. That comes into it. And that maybe forced the hand of Kenny Pickett showing those true goals. If it's true that he was going to be difficult about Russell Wilson signing and he was a prima donna and he put on the performance. But I must admit, I watched Russell Wilson's press conference. We're only joining press conference. I've watched Russell Wilson's one-on-one interview on Steelers.com as well. It's hard not to buy into the Russ stuff. It really isn't. And it's also an interesting case where he's already had dinners with Steeler legends and Steeler current players, and he's already had, worked out in the gym with these blokes, all these things you'd expect. But Russell Wilson does mean business. And you know what? It's kind of nice. Like, I don't feel like we've meant business for a while at quarterback. Even Ben's last year was a farewell tour. Ben, basically since 2019, it's 2019 season onwards, this hasn't felt like we've had a quarterback ready to win now. It does now. Like, don't get me wrong, Ben wanted to win it. It's capability and what, it's not even what you want to do. Ben was willing to do anything, play injured, all the rest of it. But it's just what the Steelers have right now at quarterback is going to be massive. And then 5, it's a modern approach to team building. Kevin Colbert did not know, apart from moving up in the draft occasionally to get guys, Kevin Colbert did not have a modern approach to team building, which says you need mid-round picks. So the Steelers have traded a 4th this year, Kenny Pickett, for a 3rd this year, moving up 120 to pick 98. Plus they get 2 7s next year in 2025, which they can flip. They can use as bait to move up and down in the draft this year. That's why it's good as well. But there's a lot of guys we keep talking about on this channel where I'm doing the global perspective with Shannon White. And when I've done lives with you guys, it's always like, oh, imagine if we had another pick in the top 100. This is another pick in the top 100. And now if you move back in the 1st, and you can obviously move up, which is why I put that video out this morning, my time, or the late Friday in the US, around trading that 20th pick or moving back. But you can move up with that 3rd round pick as well. But if you've got another pick in the top 100, and if the Steelers were to trade back to 25 and get Zach Frazier, get another 2nd, and maybe another 3rd or a 4th, the Steelers can get 10 or 12 picks. Well, not 12, but they can get toward 10 picks in this draft. And that is huge. You get cheaper, you get talent, you get guys that people haven't seen before. And this is the right draft class for 3 reasons. Number 1, you've got the last sort of year of the COVID eligibility guys. You got a lot of guys that stayed back because of other juniors that were coming through wanting to get quick wins on draft stock. You've had now about 5 or 6 teams be in the college football playoff over the last few years, and a couple that were worthy of it in like Florida State. So you've got a much more spread pool of guys, but guys that were integral in Georgia, Texas, Washington, Michigan, Alabama's performance over the last few years have now either previously entered the draft or are now entering the draft. So it is really exciting from that perspective for the Steelers to now have an ability to go and move around. Equally, if there's other players after free agency that teams are shopping around, you can go and trade them with a mid-round pick. It is worth it. Maybe this is how they go get Justin Fields, and they've got Justin Fields backing up Russell Wilson. There's a lot of talk about that. But anyway, these are the 5 reasons why Kenny Pickett is no longer with the Steelers. I'd love you to weigh in the comments as well. The comment section's been going off in the videos. I love it. Tell me, rank the 5 reasons. Tell me a reason why you think most of it. Or is there another reason? Is there something I've skipped? But to me, these are the top 5 reasons. If you throw all the ingredients into the mix, bang, you get Kenny Pickett leaving Pittsburgh, traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you like the show, hit that like button. If you are not a sub for Steelers Channel, please hit that sub button. You'll get it when we get back to doing some lives. We wanted to do a live today, Marky D and I. He got called into work. I've got a very crazy week coming up where I'm going to be traveling overseas for work, but I'm hoping to be able to do a live in the next 7 to 10 days for you guys. I'm just trying to find a slot at the moment. Every time I go to do one, something in my other parts of my life comes up, or I got to do someone with someone and it's not possible. So we will figure that out for everyone. I know we want to do a live. I want to get a live chat. Some of you are such loyal listeners and subs, and I know we always goes off when we have a live show. So trying to figure out when we can do that, but hopefully really soon. Stay tuned for the rest of the content over the weekend. We've got more Steelers Global Perspective, at least another 2 videos coming there, and I got a video coming on Van Jefferson as well. But as always, go Steelers.